let's start off the show by talking about Kyler Murray. So this past week, the Arizona Cardinals improved to 5-2 on the season in 2020 after beating the Seattle Seahawks in overtime 34-37. And it was a great game. I had a lot of takeaways from this game, but my biggest takeaway from the game that I wanted to share with you guys, I think this is something that needs to be said as of right now. If Kyler Murray wasn't already a top 10 quarterback heading into the Seattle Seahawks game, Kyler Murray is now officially a top 10 quarterback as we speak today in 2020. He's officially in that group, in my opinion. This is the type of game that I want to see from Kyler Murray. You know, it's cool that Kyler Murray can beat up on the Dallas Cowboys. You know, it's cool that he can beat the 49ers in week number 1. But this was a nationally televised game. A lot of people were watching, including myself. I'm pretty sure all of you probably watched the game because if you didn't, you missed out, okay? You know, the Seattle Seahawks, they were coming to town. They were coming into Arizona, Kyler Murray's home field. They came into his building off a bye week. And the Cardinals, they came off a big emotional win versus the Dallas Cowboys on a nationally televised game on Monday Night Football. And for Kyler Murray to turn around after that emotional win versus Dallas. I know Dallas isn't a great football team this year, but Arizona, they're not on very many primetime games. It was a big deal. It was a big win for the Cardinals, okay? But for Kyler Murray to turn around after being on national TV on Monday versus the Cowboys, and he performed pretty well in that game, on a short week, to have the performance that he had versus an undefeated Seahawks team at the moment, it was truly sensational, okay? Kyler Murray, in my opinion, should be in the MVP conversation this year. Now, obviously, Russell Wilson is still at the top, in my opinion. I think Aaron Rodgers is right behind him. I think that Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are battling out for that 4th spot. There might be someone I'm forgetting, but Kyler Murray should at least be in your top 5 as far as MVP candidates go. And Kyler Murray, he did it all in the Seattle Seahawks game. Outside of one bad interception where he just overthrew his wide receiver and it got picked off, he played a pretty clean game. You know, 71% completion percentage, 400 total yards, 4 touchdowns total on the day, a 104.5 passer rating. And this Cardinals team right now, they're 5-2. And they're on their way to making a playoff berth if their team stays relatively healthy, knock on wood. And by the way, I told you guys the Cardinals were going to be a playoff team. A lot of you people said, no, you're crazy. What are you talking about? You got to start listening to your boy because I'm providing you the great insight that you need, okay? But either way, Kyler Murray this year is second in the NFL in total touchdowns. He's having an amazing season. He just won Rookie of the Year last year. I know some of you people are going to say, well, Kyler Murray hasn't even won a playoff game yet. How can you put him in your top 10 quarterbacks? Let me ask you guys a question. After Carson Wentz went on a run last year to get his team into the playoffs, beating very trash teams in the NFC East, a lot of Eagles fans and a lot of you people told me that Carson Wentz is a borderline elite quarterback, that he's a top 10 quarterback, that he's great. Well, as I speak today, Kyler Murray's having a better season than Carson Wentz. And as far as I'm concerned, Carson Wentz does not have a playoff victory, and he doesn't have back-to-back winning seasons. Kyler Murray is every bit as good as Carson Wentz right now. And if you're going to put Carson Wentz in your top 10, you got to have Kyler Murray, in my opinion, in that top 10. A lot of people are big fans of Lamar Jackson, and I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan too. I think Lamar Jackson, as of right now, is arguably a top 5 quarterback. But guess what? He and Kyler Murray have something in common. Oh, they haven't won a playoff game. And not to mention, Lamar Jackson's had way better coaching staffs, way better defenses, better offensive lines, and better overall teams throughout his young career than Kyler Murray has up to this point. You know, I think the Arizona Cardinals are a team on the rise, but Baltimore's had a very good roster the last 2 seasons. Lamar Jackson, he's been great, but he doesn't have a playoff victory. You have to, if you're going to put Lamar Jackson in your top 10, the way Kyler Murray's playing this year, I think you have to, keep the same energy with Kyler Murray. In fact, this year, Kyler Murray is on pace to throw more touchdown passes than Lamar Jackson, along with more yards. He's got a better completion percentage, and Kyler Murray this year could be a player that throws for 4,000 yards and rushes for 1,000 yards this year. A lot of people felt that, Lamar Jackson's season last year was spectacular and sensational, and I argued it was one of the 7 greatest MVP seasons of all time, maybe top 5 arguably, okay? But I think that passing for 4,000 yards and rushing for 1,000 yards is better than throwing for 3,000 yards and rushing for 1,000 yards. That's what Lamar Jackson did last year. He rushed for 3,000 yards. Not rushed for 3,000. He threw for 3,000 yards and rushed for 1,000 yards. Okay, but Kyler Murray, he has an outside shot to get 4,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards. He's on pace to be around 980 rushing yards on the season. So he's going to be very close, okay? But if Kyler Murray achieves that feat, he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. When we talk about arm strength, accuracy, mobility, the ability to throw off platform, your playmaking ability, how intelligent you are, Kyler Murray, he qualifies to be a top 10 quarterback as we speak today in 2020. And the scary thing about Kyler Murray is that he's only getting better. He still has another level that he could tap into. Kyler Murray has not even scratched the surface yet. You know, everyone talks about Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson has honestly peaked. Kyler Murray's getting better and better. And I said in the offseason that Kyler Murray will have a better NFL career than Lamar Jackson. A lot of people gave me pushback. And ultimately, I think I'm going to be right on the money when it comes to Kyler Murray in regards to comparing him to Lamar Jackson. Not saying Lamar Jackson is a bad quarterback, because Lamar Jackson, he has a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. He's on a very good team. He's a dynamic quarterback. But long term, I want Kyler Murray. And as of right now, I think we need to start giving Kyler Murray a little bit more praise, than we've been giving him over the last year and a half. I think Kyler Murray is officially a top 10 quarterback for all the reasons that I mentioned. No doubt about it, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.